1933, the iron wind begins. Sighed by the hardtack, born to endure the sins. They call me a rock, a cracker for the sea. But there's a thunderstorm brewing deep inside of me. Knobby knees, egg beat a gate, a broken, stunted frame. They labeled me a ghost before they even knew my name. 35 times they whipped me through the mire. 35 times they threw me to the fire. Sold for a claiming price, a discard, a scrap. While I laid in the straw, trapped in the silence of the gap. They saw a lazy beast, a head bowed down in sleep. I saw the world rotting in the promises they couldn't keep. They counted up my losses, they whispered to the trash. I was waiting for the light and I was waiting for the flash. They looked at the scoreboard, they looked at the goal. They looked at the story that had already been told. But I looked at the rail and I felt the earth shake, waiting for the moment that they realized their mistake. They swore they had the measure of the spirit in the bone. They thought they knew the king upon his hollow rusted throne. They pointed at the finish, they screamed into the gale. But I was never running for the wind upon the sail. I was carrying the silence, I was carrying the storm, breaking every cage that they tried to force to form. They watched the track, but they never saw the song. The world got it right, but they got me all wrong. Then came the quiet one, the man they called the ghost. He didn't want the glory, he didn't want the toast. He brought me a monkey, a cur, and an old gray friend. He taught me how to breathe, he taught me how to mend. He let the engine idle, he let the pressure build, while the track rats paced the paddock, convinced that I was killed. He didn't ask for speed, he didn't ask for pride. He just gave me back the ocean that was waiting deep inside. They looked at the dust, they thought it was the end. They didn't see the spirit stuck to breaking in the bend. Something in the marrow, something in the vein was waking up to dance within the rhythm of the ring. They swore they had the measure of the spirit in the bone. They thought they knew the king upon his hollow rusted throne. They pointed at the finish, they screamed into the gale. But I was never running for the wind upon the sail. I was carrying the silence, I was carrying the storm, breaking every cage that they tried to force to form. They watched the track, but they never saw the song. The world got it right, but they got me all wrong. It wasn't for the laurel, it wasn't for the crowd. It was the sight of a rival's nose screaming out aloud. When the shadow came beside me, the sleeper fell away, and the egg beat of fury turned the night into the day. I wasn't trained to win, I was born to reclaim everything they buried in the ashes of my name. War Admiral, the machine, the Triple Crown parade. Didn't see the hobo ghost rising from the shade. 40 million voices, a choir in the wire, listening to the hoofbeats catching the fire. They felt the depression, they felt the breaking weight. They saw their own redemption riding through the gate. Broken-eyed jockey, a soul with the cracked leg. We were two dying embers, forced to stand and beg. We healed in the mountains under the forest breath. Two outcasts dancing on the very edge of death. They swore they had the measure of the spirit in the bone. They thought they knew the king upon his hollow rusted throne. They pointed at the finish, they screamed into the gale. But I was never running for the wind upon the sail. I was carrying the silence, I was carrying the storm, breaking every cage that they tried to force to form. They watched the track, but they never saw the song. The world got it right, but they got me all. Santa me the graveyard where the dream went to die. I ran through the traffic, I reached for the sky. 130 pounds upon my breaking back, leaving the record breakers in the dust of the track. Then the silence returned, the ranch and the oak, the life of the legend, the end of the yoke. No stone for the marker, no glory for the grave, just a piece of the earth for the soul that they couldn't save. Beneath the oak tree, where the shadows grow tall, I don't need a monument, I don't need a wall.